Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Wassalatu wassalam ala Rasulihil Kareem wa ala Ahli Bayti at-Tayyibin at-Tahirin. Fasting in the holy month of Ramadan is a religious practice obligatory upon all Muslims and one that is an essential element of all true religions. Allah says in the Holy Quran, O you who believe, fasting is incumbent upon you as it was incumbent upon those before you, that you may become pious. And the famous hadith of the Holy Prophet ﷺ says, O people, indeed, the month of Allah is approaching you with blessings, mercy, and forgiveness. It is a month which, in Allah's eyes, is the most auspicious of months, its days the most auspicious of days, its nights the most auspicious of nights, and its hours the most auspicious of hours. It is a month in which you are invited to be the guests of Allah. Now, to be the guest of Allah requires certain conditions and protocols, which we call the rules of fasting. There are a number of rules concerning the fast that should be known if our fast is to be correct and to be accepted by Allah. And here we will give you an outline of the most basic of them. The first rule to be observed is the intention or niyyah, which is the decision to get close to Allah through the fast. It should be made at or before the time of dawn, and it is acceptable for one to make the intention once for the whole month of Ramadan. Thus, if one fasts without making the intention, or one does it in order to lose weight or to simply not eat or drink, the fast is rendered invalid. The time for fasting begins from the time the white thread of true dawn or Fajr appears in the sky to the time of Maghrib or sunset, when the redness in the eastern part of the sky disappears. The conditions that make fasting obligatory are 1. Being of sound intellect or aql, being legally mature or bulugh, being free of menses or postpartum bleeding, not being a traveler, and that the fast should not be detrimental to one's health. The fasting person should not do the following things or must be free of the following conditions: eating, drinking, sexual intercourse, masturbation, telling lies against Allah, the Prophet, and the Imams, smoking, according to some ulama, and inhaling or swallowing thick dust, deliberately submerging the head under water, being in a state of ritual sexual impurity, junub, menses, or postpartum bleeding until Fajr. If before Fajr one is unable to perform the ghusl, or there is little time to perform it, one should perform the tayammum instead. As ihtiyat wajib, any kind of intravenous injection that provides nutrients to the body, and deliberate vomiting. A person who breaks his fast by deliberately doing these things should make up that fast. In addition to this, he should make atonement or kafara, which is also obligatory or wajib. Atonement is also necessary as ihtiyat wajib for taking nutrition by injection, immersing the head in water, as well as for deliberate vomiting. Atonement can be one of 3 things: fasting for 2 consecutive lunar months, with at least the first 31 days of fasting being uninterrupted; secondly, the freeing of a slave; or thirdly, the feeding of 60 destitute people. Those who unjustifiably broke their fast by doing something forbidden and sinful, such as fornication, drinking alcohol, and the like, should do all of the atonements mentioned. That is, in addition to fasting for 2 months, they should free a slave and feed 60 indigent people as well. Women who are in the last months of their pregnancy and breastfeeding mothers whose fasting might be detrimental to themselves and or their infants should not fast. Instead, they should donate about 740 grams of some cereal like wheat, barley, or rice to the destitute for each day of the fast missed, and make up for the fasts they missed later. Travelers who have left their hometowns before dhuhr or noon and whose prayers are shortened should break their fasts and make them up later. However, if they started their traveling after noon, they would have to complete their fasts. If a traveler arrives at his hometown before noon or arrives at a place where he intends to stay for at least 10 days, he could make the intention to fast if he did not do anything before his arrival that would have rendered fasting void. If he did something that would have invalidated fasting, however, fasting that day would not be obligatory upon him, and it is not permissible for him to fast. This is a short presentation of the major rules on fasting. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi